Well, I don't think there's really any such thing as a gay community because in the Bible,
Here we go with a classic excuse of, I don't believe in the gay community because Big Book tell me not to. You know how asinine that sounds? How much of BS that sounds like to me? Big Book tell me not to believe, so I don't believe.
fall into perversions. And like, you should all just thank a straight person that we're all here today on the earth.
I'm taking an issue with your logic here, friend. First off, you do not need to be straight to have kids. There are gay people who live heterosexual lives but are still gay and they have kids. Before coming out and being who you are was more accepted, gay people would generally live in a heterosexual relationship so people wouldn't how find out that they're gay. So therefore, and also that means they'd have kids. So your logic there that we have to thank a straight person for all of us being here is incorrect because you do not need to be straight to have children.
And that we can all be friends.
And secondly, for you to say that we can all be friends, what would we be? Because you don't believe we exist. So how would we be friends? What would I be, your imaginary friend?
A public library, they have a pride set up. Now, I'm not anti any of that. I could care less what you do with your life. The moment you start pushing on me and my children, then I have an issue with it.
Newsflash for your friend. It is a public library where anything throughout history that has changed or big things in history, it gets displayed because it's a public library. It's a place of historical record, period. That is where everything congregates. History will be there. Just saying. And I hate to tell you this, but pride is still part of history. Actually, it's going on currently. So history on that is being created every day. If anything, you would expect the displays at public libraries to get bigger.
The drag queen story time. Why do my kids, now of course my kids have never seen this. Why is that okay? That's showing kids that this is the way things should be, when it really should not.
Drag to a story time. First off, they're not going in there in provocative dresses or provocative clothing or whatever have you, so be it. They're going in there moderately dressed, probably with extravagant makeup or a costume. It's basically like them doing Halloween, but reading stories to children. And newsflash, seeing somebody do that does not automatically make your kids want to do that. Maybe they see them in a costume and want to go dress in a costume, but that's not the same thing as drag. Sorry. And for them just to read a storybook to your children, I don't understand what your issue is with that. Besides the fact you think that they're reading sexualized storybooks to children, which makes no sense at all. For you to say, okay, well, I don't want my kids to take part in that, cool. Your kids don't have to. But for those who actually know what it is and don't have an issue with it, that should be okay. And secondly, getting into it, teaching your kids that it's okay to express yourself in a way that is outside the cultural norms, how is that an issue? You explain that to me. Teaching your kids that expressing yourself in a way that other people may not like is okay. Because people are people, and we deserve the right to express ourselves in any way, shape, or form we choose, whether it be through body art, tattoos, piercings, clothing, makeup, accessories. What does it matter? It's the rights of people to express themselves in a way that they see fit. And how is that wrong to teach our children? Explain that to me.
That's showing kids that this is the way things should be, when it really should not. There again, that's how you want to live your life. Go live it. Don't put it in my face,
And again, nobody's pushing a narrative on you simply by us living our lives in our truth and our happiness. Nobody is pushing anything on you. For you to feel that way, there must be something internally going on with you that you're not ready to admit. But I digress. Nobody is pushing anything on you simply by living their lives in a way that makes them happy. And for you to say that is ignorant.
See, this is not about rights. This is people telling me I have to be okay with who you are. You know, if they would come and talk to me and say, hey, this is who I am, I like to sleep with dudes, or I like this, okay, don't care. You know, I can live my life just fine without that.
Nobody is telling you you have to be okay with who we are, but we are telling you that you have to accept our right to live our lives in a way that we see fit, because they are our lives, not yours, not anybody else's to live. They are our lives. Because they don't conform to your standards doesn't mean we're forcing anything on anybody, doesn't mean we're telling you you have to be okay with it. That's our life. We are going to live it. And if dressing in dresses, makeup, just going out crazy looking makes us happy, then who are you to judge us and tell us that we're pushing it on you? Because we're not. We're not pushing anything on you. The fact that you think we are is the issue here.
You know, if that's how you want to live your life, you go live yours, I'll live mine. There again, once you start pushing the narrative on me, then I have an issue with it.
How is a trans person or a gay person living their life pushing it on you? Oh, I see. Because you have to accept that we are people and accept that we are going to live our lives in a way that makes us happy. That's pushing it on you. I get it. I'm sorry. I didn't understand. I thought pushing it on you was forcing you to be a part of the community, forcing you into wearing dresses, putting makeup on you, or forcing you to be with a man. That's pushing it on you. Not people simply living their lives is not pushing it on you.
The transgender stuff on our children, the surgeries, you're a cis male now and I'm a cis woman, and we have to accept that label.
Let me tell you a little something about the cis word. Cis is a highly documented medical term, and it was actually used first by doctors to describe the difference between
intersex people
and people who identify and coincide with the gender they were given at birth. That is what cis was originally meant to. Yes, it has been adopted for trans people, for doctors and stuff, to differentiate between a biological woman who identifies as what she is at birth, what she was assigned at birth, for a trans person who no longer identifies with what they were assigned at birth. Okay, so cis isn't a slur. It isn't something bad. So for you to act like it is asinine. Okay, Karen?
Or we're, what's the phobia word? Transphobic or whatever, and they turn it into this hate thing where most of us would be like, you do you, leave us alone.
Except we didn't turn it into a hate thing. You turned it into a hate thing. You hate us because we don't follow your cultural norms. We don't follow your social standards. We don't conform to your ideals and your values. So therefore, you hate us because you don't have the gall to live in a way that makes you happy. You conform to what your big book says you need to, or your societal norms say you have to. You all turned it into hate against us. We didn't turn it into hate. You did.
But they're really affecting this culture and the society, and we don't want America as that.
You obviously have no clue how culture grows and changes. Just saying, culture develops over time through different beliefs, through different experiences, through challenges to societal norms. That is how culture changes and grows and becomes better. That is how we got the culture that we have today, which arguably is kind of horrible. But so basically what you're saying is that you want it to stagnate in this pool, that there's no change, no growth, no nothing, that only cis heterosexual people have a say in society. Everybody else should just die, right? Is that what we're getting at here? Because without the cultural growth and the cultural stimulation of others and a new way of thinking, then your society is going to crumble into dust. Just saying.
there's something going on with the push now, the way it's been rammed so far down our throat. They're pushing gender affirming surgeries at very young ages, where I couldn't even go get a tattoo or smoke a cigarette when I was, 16. They're chopping off body parts of little bitty kids that, and then.
Let's get this straight, lady. There is no forcing anything on children. There is none of that. So stop spreading that rhetoric. Stop spreading that crap. And you know it is utter crap.
Because how will we reprocreate and continue civilization?
Ma'am, the LGBTQIA plus community, it makes up less than 5% of the population, and only 1% of that is trans. Just so you're aware, ma'am, that most of the population is still heterosexual, meaning the human species is still going to reproduce, is still going to procreate, and is still going to live. That talking point is null and void, because unless the LGBTQIA community grows at a substantial fucking rate, that is never going to happen, and overtakes the population, and it becomes that most of the population is part of the LGBTQIA plus community, then we have a problem. But until then, you need to stop spreading that rhetoric and stop thinking you have a talking point, because it isn't even a talking point. At less than 0.5% of the population, your information has been yet again proven to be incorrect. Thank you. Goodbye, Karen.
Stop right there. What were you going to do? Just watch the video and leave? Without even leaving a trace of your existence? Don't you know that liking, sharing, and subscribing is a great way to show the creator that you enjoyed their content? Plus, you won't miss out on future uploads from this creator? What's wrong with you? Have you no decency?